Hello again, this is Divine Erdrick, and it's time to geek out some more over Path of Exile. But before we begin geeking out over Path of Exile today, we first need to geek out over another game. Today, we need to also take some time geeking out over Final Fantasy VII. Now, the Final Fantasy franchise has had some interesting experiments when it comes to magic systems. From the D&D inspired magic system of the first game, to the job system that would pop up every now and then, to the Esper system of my favorite Final Fantasy, FF6, to the utter failure that was FF8's magic and, well, basically entire combat system. But my all-time favorite magic system in the entire Final Fantasy franchise is FF7's Materia system. Now, I'm not all that big of an FF7 fanboy, but I loved the Materia system. From a fairly young age, I had, let's call it a strategy for implementing strategy guides in my gaming. I would read all the basic information I could that was in the intro sections of a given strategy guide. And then I would mine the appendices for additional information, making sure that I avoided any kind of walkthrough or specific encounter information. And I would try my best to make up my own strategies for how I would approach the game. And when it came to this, FF7's Materia system was a gold mine of theory crafting enjoyment. One of the guides I had, the Versus guide I think, had a bunch of example materia setups you could create to produce interesting and powerful combinations. And planning out the different equipment I would get and deciding how I would socket the materia and get the most out of the support materia entertained me for days. So it should be no surprise that when I saw similar mechanics in Path of Exile's gem-based skill system, it immediately sucked me in. So going back to that rule of three, all of Path of Exile's gems are split into one of three colors themed around warriors, rogues, and mages. Red for strength and for might-based skills and abilities, green for dexterity and for skillful and crafty skills and abilities, I guess, skillful skills, and blue for intelligence and magic. There's also a fourth color, white, to represent gems that don't fit into any one of those categories, but that doesn't come up too much. Now, every weapon and piece of armor, with a few notable exceptions, has at least one socket. These sockets can be red, green, blue, or, again in special cases, white. From there, the interaction is probably pretty obvious. Click on a gem in your inventory, and you can place it into any appropriate socket. Red gems can go into red, green and green, blue and blue. Any gem can be placed in a white socket, and a white gem can be placed in any socket. Place a gem with a skill on it into the appropriate socket on a piece of gear your character has, and you now have access to that skill. Change your mind, you can right-click the gem and take it out. So far, pretty simple, right? Using this system, you can have as many skills as your character has sockets, though there are other limits to consider, such as, well, for example, your hotkey slots. So right off the bat, Path of Exile gives you the ability to greatly customize your character's abilities using this gem system. A great deal of Path of Exile's fun is finding skills that complement each other well to create really powerful builds. But wait, there's more! Gems fall into two types, skill gems and support gems. Skill gems behave as I've already mentioned. Put them in the appropriate socket in worn equipment, and now your character can use a skill. Support gems improve or change how skills behave. Every skill gem has a number of keywords assigned to it, and every socket can have additional sockets linked to it. When a support gem that shares one or more skill keywords is placed in a linked socket, it will change the skill. Support gems can do everything from increasing the area of a spell, to firing off more projectiles on ranged attacks, to changing the damage type, making a spell a trap, or even make a ranged attack a turret. Now, there are some minor exceptions you occasionally have to watch out for. Some support skills don't support every skill that shares a keyword, but most of the time these interactions are fairly obvious. For example, the support gem Multi-Strike supports melee skills, but it can't support one and done attacks like Leap Slam or Consecrated Path. Probably the trickiest part, in my opinion, is figuring out which skills count as hitting a target. But fortunately, the community-run wiki is really good at noting any exceptions or interactions for skills and support gems. And the tool, Path of Building, shows you if support gems will affect a given skill. Worst comes to worst, you can just socket in a support gem and find out for yourself. The skill icon in your hotkey bar shows what support gems are currently supporting it. But this level of experimentation and trying to find the best combinations for your skills is one of the things I love about this game. But wait, we're not done yet. As I said, sockets can be linked together. The number of sockets an item can have is based on its type. One-handed weapons can have up to 3 sockets normally. Two-handed weapons and body armor can normally have up to 6, and all other armor is usually limited to 4. Any and all of those sockets can be linked. So in a piece of body armor, you could have any combination of links of up to 6 sockets, including having no links or having all of the sockets linked. In fact, getting 6 linked body armor and or a weapon is often an important goal in developing your character. And yes, if you have 6 linked sockets, that means that you can have 5 support gems enhancing a single skill. You can also have support gems supporting multiple skills. For example, if you link a minion damage support to both raise zombie and summon skeleton, both your zombies and skeletons will deal more damage. So already you should be able to see the potential this system has for making your ideal character. Really quickly, I'll try to go over some more important details on gems that you should keep in mind, but that don't necessarily affect how you build your character. So first, each gem has level and stat requirements. While a handful of gems are usable from level 1, most require higher levels before your character can use them. Additionally, although the color indicates the primary stat a gem requires, some gems require a little of a secondary stat as well. A green spell gem might require a little intelligence, for example. One thing unique to gems in Path of Exile is that every gem has a level attached to it. The higher the level, the more powerful the gem. Gems gain experience as you kill monsters. With enough experience, a gem can level up. However, higher level gems require, well, higher level characters and stats and often more mana as well. Some support gems are also limited in how powerful a gem can be supported. A handful of gems are even considered to be better at lower level than higher levels based on the build. Fortunately, no gem hits a required level that isn't easily achieved by the average player. Additionally, no support gem has stat requirements higher than 114, which isn't a very hard target to hit. When a gem is ready to level, you'll see a notice on the right side of your screen and at the bottom of your inventory. You don't have to level a gem right away, and if you don't want to level a gem further, you can right-click on the notice to get rid of it. You'll still be able to level the gem if you change your mind later from the bottom of your inventory screen. Normally, a gem caps off at level 20, and getting level 20 in a build's important skills is also an important step in developing a character. However, there are ways to get a gem above level 20 or get it to function at even higher levels. Now, gems are items, and so they're tied into Path of Exile's itemization system. Don't worry about finding the gems you need, though. There's a quest in Act 6 that gives you access to nearly every normal gem in the game. There will be more to talk about when I go further into Path of Exile's itemization and vendor recipes, but for now you should note that gems can have a quality rating that improves them. How quality affects a gem varies from skill to skill or support gem to support gem, and you should generally check the wiki for more details. In general, however, higher quality gems are preferred for most builds. And then there's a special class of gem called Vol Gems. Now, Vol Gems function just like normal gems, with the following exception. First, Vol Gems can only be obtained from drops or trading. Vendors do not normally sell Vol Gems. Second, all Vol Gems have the modifier Corrupted. Corrupted items can't be crafted further. So whatever quality a Vol Gem has is the quality it will always normally have. Third, every Vol Gem has a powerful Vol version of the skill on that gem. You can use the gem either for its original skill or the Vol version, and you will usually set up hotkeys for both. However, Vol skills have to be powered up by slaying mobs to gain souls. Once you have enough souls, you can unleash the skill. Afterwards, there's a brief period of time where you can't gain the souls anymore. Then you can begin to charge the skill again. In practice, many Vol skills are mostly ignored in favor of saving hotkeys for, well, more support skills. However, a handful of Vol skills, such as Vol Haste and Vol Righteous Fire, are incredibly potent. Finally, there are 3 special support gems that can only be found from drops that break all the rules: Empower, Enhance, and Enlighten. Each of these support gems don't appear to do anything when you first find them. If you're lucky enough to find one of higher quality, though, you'll note that the gem gains more experience with higher quality, but that appears to be it. However, once one of these gems reaches level 2, you get to see what the gem really does. Empower gems increase the effective level of any skill gem linked to them. Enhance increases the effective quality, and Enlighten reduces the mana cost of the skills. Finally, these skills normally cap out at level 3, though there are ways to get them to higher levels. Whether these gems are actually worth using varies heavily on the skills or the build that you're trying to create. So hopefully I've given you enough information to see the potential that Path of Exile's skill gem system has. I'll go into much more detail when I talk about itemization, crafting, and character building, but for now, I hope you'll give the game a download and play around with this awesome system. This has been Divine Erdrick, and I hope to see you all in Rayclast.